very good. As always, liveoddsportsbookreview.com. Game number 2. Oh, unmitigated disaster for the Big 12 so far. Here's the only team, one of the power teams, without a loss. Oklahoma State at Baylor. Baylor 8, 76 the total. Last year, Baylor was a small road favorite. Remember, they had third-string quarterback in there, and they won the game 45-35 on the road. Playing fast was as much art as science for Baylor under Art Briles, but his son is the OC, Teddy, but they haven't been able to get out of the gate here in the first quarter.
No, I mean, if you've watched Baylor, I've watched them a couple times now, they just don't look the same in the post-Art Briles era. And I know that his son is the offensive coordinator, but it's Jim Grobe's team. And Jim Grobe doesn't necessarily have the feel for this kind of football. Look at his quote. The thing we had some problems with was we continue to struggle a little bit with running the pace we want to run. I think we had some situations, we had their defense on their heels a little bit, but we weren't going as fast as we can go. Grobe isn't a natural fit for this offense. Briles was. You talked about the issues coming out of the gate. Look, the last 2 games, they're playing weaker defenses. Rice, SMU, 0 first quarter touchdowns. This is a Baylor team that every time you looked up in the first quarter, used to be up 21-0, 28-0. Come out of the gate and crushing teams hasn't happened so far in 2016. Last year, Rice and SMU, just a class example. This year, 0 first quarter touchdowns. Last year, those 2 opponents, 7 first quarter touchdowns. It's a legitimate difference for the Baylor Bears. Not a good one.
How about with Briles out, does it help defensively? Is this legitimate Baylor defense?
Well, that's the interesting thing about Baylor this year. And, of course, all 3 of their first 3 games have all gone under the total by, I believe, 18 points or more. You look at the defensive talent and experience. That defense may legitimately be improved. It's as good as any defense that Briles had while he was there. The talent's solid. The coaching's solid. Baylor's not an over team anymore.
Yeah, and we love Mason Rudolph, quarterback at Oklahoma State. He should play in the NFL. Big-time wide receiver in Washington. He's a stud. And I tell you, they showed me a lot last week. Pulling that game out after the tough loss at home to Central Michigan, they came back to beat Pitt at home.
Yeah, it was a really wild game. Oklahoma State kind of got out-adjusted at halftime. They made mistakes. They turned the ball over. They were fairly lucky to win and cover. They struggled to stop the run, and I'm not sure that changes here. But the one thing that they did was Rudolph to Washington. And, of course, the game winner, Rudolph to Seals, an 86-yard completion, bringing it down to the 1. Even though the offensive line kind of struggled to pass block, and that's been a problem for them so far this season.
Yep, it's a Baylor game. I can only look over. These have been shootouts the last few years against
Not
Oklahoma.
a chance I'm betting Baylor over right now. I looked at the dog here if I was going to play it, but I'm probably not going to play it.
Hey, guys, for the full video, go to sbrpicks.com.
Do your research before you bet. Check out our ratings guide to see which books have the best ratings and sign-up bonuses. Open up several accounts. Shop for lines at sbrodds.com. Always be ahead of the game.